Yeah, yeah. Conspiracy Corner. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Qua's Conspiracy Corner. We'll get straight into it. What do you guys have for us today?
Okay, welcome. Today we're gonna start off a little different. We're gonna give a little fan feedback from our videos and our shorts. So we're gonna start off with the comment sections from our TikToks and YouTube.
Yeah, so we did receive a bit of comments on TikTok, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. Um, One of the ones we did receive was a guy named Slippery John saying you do not have control over your thoughts. How do you guys feel about that?
What you think, Dave?
You guys first.
I disagree. I think that's one thing we do have control over, our thoughts and our actions, as Dave said. I think it's us, right? It doesn't matter what I could think. I could walk into my room and write a billion things on my wall, on my board. Like, that's something they cannot take from us. Like, it's been a lot of censoring going on with our speech and the things we say, or even about maybe we can't put nothing on the internet no more. Who knows? But the things we think and do, like, around, we do have control over. Like, eventually we might get punished for it, especially talking about actions. But we do control our thoughts. I just simply disagree with that.
Yeah, to kind of pedal off what you just said, yeah, I disagree as well. I'm thinking right now, I'm controlling it, so that's all I got for that. You do control your thoughts. If he's saying we do not have control of it, maybe he can elaborate a bit more, but I believe you have control of your thoughts because you're constantly controlling it. That's one of the only things you have control over, constantly.
Maybe he's talking about, like, our opinions. You know what I'm saying? Our opinions. I think there are things like social media, political influences that turn our viewpoints. You know what I'm saying, or might make us think a certain way. But at the end of the day, it is on us. Like, if Dave's here out here and tells me something, I can literally fact check it. You know what I'm saying? I could go look it up. I don't have to just believe him and be like, oh, he's right. Like, it's my mind. We're two very different individuals. We agree and disagree on multiple points. Like I don't make him move. He don't make me move. Like, we have our own minds. Like, yeah, I definitely think we control those.
I think those are all good points. Maybe what I hear when you read the comment is that you don't control. There are sometimes you will receive what you think is a thought that's being put into your mind. Mm-hmm. There's just stuff that pops up. You say something silly and then automatically somebody but you have to capture the things that just pop in, and you have that ability to then think about whether or not this thing that has popped into your head is valid, if it's true or if it's false, if it's something you want to believe or don't want to believe. And then you can let it go as quickly as it came in. And so, as you guys know, I do think that you can control your thoughts. And I think that if we all did better at controlling our thoughts, it does take some discipline. Mindset is something that we talk a lot about. And maybe there's folks out there who don't have the practice of controlling their thoughts. They're more emotionally driven. And so they've got these things that are constantly coming into their mind and they feel like they're not in control. And so I would encourage you guys to be mindful and try. But you know that they say too that there's 20 or 30% of the population that doesn't have any internal dialogue with themselves. Like, they can't hear themselves think.
I think they refuse.
I don't know. I don't know how to cope with that, but possibly that's one of those folks. I don't know who made the comment. Maybe they have no internal dialogue.
I
Maybe
appreciate
they don't
your
really
interaction, by the way. What's his name? Slippery.
Slippery John.
Appreciate your interaction. But like you said, that 30%, I think people refuse to. It's like self-reflecting, Like,
I think it's a biological thing. I believe that they physically, chemically in their mind, they don't have the ability to have internal dialogue. Everything that their thoughts, everything it's coming out of their mouth. They process all of it verbally, and they don't have the ability. And it may be, I don't know. I don't know if it's an IQ thing or
See,
what.
like that's a crazy thing. Like so, like
Yeah.
when you say like bots on the internet, like are there bots in real life? Like
They,
God,
there's
God
the
gave
NPC
everybody.
joke. Everybody thinks like some people are NPCs,
I
but
don't know.
yeah, you have to
That's a
understand. There's so many people just in the United States. We have a population of 330, 340, 350 million people. We don't have the ability to comprehend what it looks like to have, like, so many people, and then 8 billion people on the planet.
I believe you when you say the comprehension aspect of it, of like things in the world, even like about how many people there are in the world. You know, that's hard to fathom. You know, but to the point of like they can't like self-reflect or think about things. Like everybody has a soul. You get what I'm saying? So when you have out of body experiences, you have like things that happen into your life that like make you realize that it's more than just what I see with my own two eyes. You know, I believe that everybody has that experience. You know, so when you say they can't like self-reflect or think, like they don't have a soul is what I'm hearing, and that's just crazy. That's just crazy to
think
me.
it's different. I
That's
think it's
just
not
crazy
It's
to
not
me.
like not having a voice in their head. I think they can think, but they just can't like actually like.
But that voice in your head, like, who are you talking to when you thinking and talking to yourself?
Like
You know?
yourself, I guess. But like, I think they just don't have that. It's not that they can't think, but it's just that they can't like maybe process their thoughts like we do, for example.
I don't know if anybody has that experience in the comments. You can maybe enlighten us in what's going on with that.
So you do
And
have another comment. This
Let's get
is a
to 'em.
different video. We were talking about, you know, homosexual activity, you know, being shown to children. One of the comments we did receive was, what happened? What happens if your kid's friend has two dads by Fum Crackle Deuceping? So, guys, how we feel about Fum Crackle Deuceping?
The child having two dads have nothing to do with exposing a child to sex. I'm gonna re-say this. You being gay is not an issue. You exposing children to sex way too early is the problem. You know, like your sexuality doesn't matter. You know, there are men and women in this world. That's fine. It doesn't matter if men are men, women are women. That's something you like should find out later in life. Not in elementary school. Maybe not even in middle school. Like let kids be kids. Why do I have to tell my child, oh, me and daddy are gay? Like that don't matter. Like when he asked that question, you could talk about it. Like you don't have to say like this is what we do, this is the difference. Like, you know, like what is that? Vanilla, be vanilla about it to the kids. Like you over sexualizing them at a young age. It don't matter if you're straight. I would say this to a straight man and a straight woman, or a gay man and a gay. It doesn't matter. Like over sexualizing children is wrong. That's genuinely how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think the media has to calm down a bit about that stuff, about like showing sex to children in general, like ages of 5, 6, 4 even, like the stuff that's in the media and even the video games right now is kind of crazy. And even what Roblox is doing, I don't know how it's going right now. I haven't seen any updates about it, but that dating app, and Roblox is a kid's game.
It is,
Play
bro.
Roblox, and
If it say E for everyone, it don't need to be nothing about sex in it. Nothing at all about no sex, kissing, none of that. If it say E for everyone, that's insane.
so the media, yeah, they definitely got to chill out about that. And yeah, if your kid's friend has two dads, okay.
I don't nobody care about this.
yeah, I don't know. Roblox is a thing, but where I see it is, look, YouTube. Maybe some of you guys are watching this on YouTube, but I've got 2 kids. We allow them to have their tablets. And just the things that they come across, we are pretty good about staying on top of the things that they watch. And but there is a lot of that type of content that just shows up, and it's done in the animated style of Roblox. And it's pervasive. Like you block particular content creators and then they just keep showing up, or other ones of similar styles and everything, they just keep showing up. So you just have to stand on guard. But look, I respect people's ability and to be able to live their lives. And I think that there's, I have two dads, then my question is, where did the kid come from? If they adopted the kid, there's a lot of kids out there that need a loving family. And I don't think that being gay means that you're not going to be able to create that loving environment for the kids to grow up in. It's different, it's alternative to a traditional family, but there's so many kids out there in the foster care system that need to be adopted. They need loving children, and I much prefer them to be with a loving gay couple, well, dudes or chicks, whatever, and instead of being held by the state, because the state is who operates the foster care, and that's typically where those kids come from, and that's a bad situation.
Yeah, and from what I hear, the foster care system is not a lovely place. I've never been in it, but from my family and friends that I have, it is not a good place to be, you know? So, you can feel how you want to feel about being gay, straight. If somebody is mentally stable and wanting to take children into their home and give them a loving, happy life, that is nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm a full support. As long as you say mentally stable, you know, ain't got no pedophilic background, because they be letting a lot of stuff fly lately. I've been seeing a lot of stuff. It's crazy. But, yeah.
Mentally stable.
Mentally stable is very,
mental, all of that. So we got a next comment by Julius Hoppin or Hopin, whatever. What do you mean letting kids be kids? Learning that gay people exist doesn't ruin their innocence. LMAO.
Like I said again, it's not about being gay. It is not about being gay, but you don't need to know how gay people have sex. You feel me? You don't need to know. You don't even know these things, bro. Like harp back on the Roblox thing. You know, this like away from what she's saying, because I just kind of said that. But back to the Roblox thing. If my 6-year-old son, I don't have no kids, but if my 6-year-old son is on Roblox and say, "Oh, daddy, I'm on a date with my girlfriend, and there's a 43-year-old man on the internet screaming, telling you I'm on a date," I'm gonna be mad, bro. Like, what are you doing with my son? I'm gonna be upset. It is no, I'm not with it, bro. I am not with it at all. I stand where I stand. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, some things are just a no-no. That's one of the things. I have nieces. I don't want them to see any type of inappropriate action, regardless of like what's going on, man and woman, man, like none of that on Roblox or the tablets or the internet, etc. I haven't missed out on you, Dave, but there is another comment directly under this, and this isn't an argument. This is a half thought with nothing behind it. If you're scared about kids seeing pornography or cornography, I don't know if I have to censor that or not, you have to monitor their media. If you're afraid of kids knowing that people have sex at all, the fact that it exists ruins that already. So yeah, how do you feel about that?
No, I agree. It's not just about the gay stuff. It's just the gay stuff is much more pervasive, it seems. But I would say the same thing about heterosexual. Like, there don't need to be. We haven't around here, at least to my knowledge, we don't have the library issues. We haven't had whatever the story time is with
the transgenders and stuff.
Yeah, whatever all that stuff is. We haven't had that around here. I haven't heard any issues about any library books being inappropriate. So we haven't had to deal with that directly here. But I wouldn't want to see the same oversexualization of whether it's a heterosexual relationship or a gay relationship. The kids, when it goes back to the question, what does it mean for kids to be kids? It means that they get to play and they get to maintain their innocence for as long as possible without being exposed to the debauchery of our modern day life and how oversexualized everything is.
And it's something extremely wrong with that. You have a problem with, like, I don't understand the world. We have a problem with women getting raped, You know what I'm saying? And all this stuff going on, but you over sexualizing children, putting it into them early, and then act like it ain't no consequences to those actions. These things lead to way bigger problems in the long run. Like I saw this dude he was talking about in Europe, but he was saying like from 2000 to now, how the sexual assault rate has doubled in a lot of European countries. And he was saying it for a different reason, but over-sexualization is a main reason of that. You know, like it's like in America, especially like it's in our music. You know, it's I can't go 5 TikTok reels without seeing somebody shaking their behind. I don't know if I can say that or not, but that's like,
Family
and I don't
friendly.
want my like I'm listening like when my sister watch YouTube, she on the game. I'm constantly looking at what she doing or who she listening to because it could look like a kid saying they could sit there and be playing with slime and Play-Doh and shit, but you saying the most out of pocket stuff in the world. Like I
Yeah,
don't want my 5-year-old sister hearing that. Like hell
that's the
no.
problem is that they that's how they are, how I feel they're targeting the kids is that they're using stuff
100%.
that looks like it should be a kids show, activities, it should be for kids, it's cartoons and all this kind of stuff, but then it's got all the extra sexualized stuff in it.
Yeah.
That's and it's all over the place. I don't.
Literally everywhere. No, I ain't with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in another TikTok video, changing the subject now, we were discussing about like the Republic, etc., how America and the government, how it works, and King Kong 6'5", 50 said, makes sense. You're against America. Demon rats are basically domestic terrorists. There was a response saying, nah, you gotta realize most governments are somehow and somewhere corrupt, and it's up to people to regulate the country and try to get into politics and talk about it, not demonize each other and try to fix it. King Kong responded by saying that's ironic because you're literally saying that Trump's government is a problem. Newsflash, Trump's government is the American government. You don't get to sit there and demonize it while pretending you're above demonizing. That's a lot, but how do we feel about that?
Me and David and Rashad, we talk about good and evil. You know, we talk about like just draw that line when he was talking about the powers that be, like the evil and like the people should be the good. You know, that's how I feel. I feel like we should be the good fighting the evil, and the evil is government. The government as a whole. I'm not saying everybody in the government is evil, but the government as a whole. I don't think it's a Democrat or what is that?
Demon rat.
A demon rat. I don't think it's a Democrat or a Republican issue. I think both sides have people trying to fight the good fight, but overall, they're both under the same umbrella. You know, and it's to turn people against each other. You know, I've been getting away from the parties because I agree with a lot on both sides, but I disagree with a lot on both sides, and it's just pushing people together, and people who are far left and far right, they start changing their minds on things they 100% disagree with. You know, like you're becoming the sheep, you're becoming a part of that flock, and you're becoming a part of the evil. Like, I'm not with it. To his point, what did he say?
His comeback, his rebuttal to Paxton, or
Yeah,
his first point?
the first point.
His first point is make sense you're against America. Demon rats are basically domestic terrorists.
Yeah. I don't know, Dave. You want to take this one over, bro? It's a lot.
I don't
kinda
know.
everywhere
I don't
with it.
know his perspective, King Kong. If you want to elaborate on this one, but he's saying that the Democrats are domestic terrorists. So I'm guessing he's
A Republican.
he's
I
a MAGA guy.
I checked
which
the
is-
page out. King Kong. Yeah, he's definitely a MAGA guy, hardcore MAGA guy.
Okay, so he thinks. So I'm guessing that his perspective on them being domestic terrorists is like the BLM, the riots, the Summer of Love back in whenever it was, 2020, 2021.
Homophobic stuff. I think it's more to
So,
it.
yeah, Antifa, that kind of thing. That's probably what he would point to as evidence of them being domestic terrorists. Look, I don't know. I'm like I don't understand. Like I get his point, but then the Democrats would say the same thing. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I think they're both corrupt. It's the red team, blue team. They use the parties to divide us. And so then the Democrats would also say that the Republicans, January 6th, all these guys, people that look like me probably, but there's guys that look like me on both sides. So I could be a hippie. I could be a hippie farmer who likes to go to the farmer's market, or I could be January 6th guy with my assault rifles, my assault style rifles,
And your
my
American
AR-15,
flags.
yeah. And so I could play both roles, I guess. But then that's the same argument used against the other side. It goes both ways. So I would kind of try to, as they were saying, I want to rise above the argument and then demonize both sides. I would rise above and say, hey, look, we need to quit using all the divisive, let's come together like we are. I like to think that we're sitting here having a good conversation. We enjoy you guys and your comments, having a conversation, but we need to think and act locally. We can't on all these, I like to bring all the national conversations down to a local level. What can we do locally to break bread with one another, come together and find common solutions to our problems? I don't know what problem this is trying to address unless you want to go and round up all the demon rats because they're domestic terrorists. But one guy's domestic terrorist is another's freedom fighter. George Washington and those guys, you remember the founding of America? I guess they would have been considered domestic terrorists to King George. So I think that is just more divisive conversation that, whatever, it's not trying to bring us together. And that's what I'm trying to do is to bring us together. And let's have a meaningful conversation about things that matter. So.
I think, especially on the Bringers Gut, some people don't want to be, you feel what I'm saying, together. And I personally don't find that a problem. Like if you want to take you and your community or you and your family elsewhere, as in your own space, plot, land, do that. But if it's not for the better of the masses, you know, I think you should just be by yourself. You know, it's communities out there that just live in the woods, man, and they mind their own business and they don't bother nobody. I'm not gonna be one of them people knocking on their doors saying, why do you hate me? I don't care why you hate me, bro. You ain't hurting me, so I don't care. My problem with the Democrats and the Republicans in this argument, like I said, it pushes people against each other and it takes away from the bigger problem. They got us arguing instead of, you know, like if Dave's a Democrat and I'm a Republican, Dave didn't raise my taxes. You feel what I'm saying? Dave didn't raise, you know what I'm saying? Dave didn't lower my minimum wage. He didn't do none of that to me. It was not him. It was not him. It was the people above him and above me. And they probably were in cahoots with it. To be honest, I feel like they are. To the Trump situation, I'm gonna be very clear about how I say this, you know? Me personally, I wouldn't say I was a fan, but I was definitely an advocate for him in this election. I thought Trump was more so for the people in general. You know, I think he was anti-government. That's how I felt about him, you know? But looking at him now, I think he's a very controlled man, and I think it's done with fear. And I think the same way the government seeps into the people, it did the same thing to him. Like money only give you so much power and protection. And I think he's corrupt. You know, I'm not gonna call him the Antichrist. I'm not gonna call him the devil, but I think he is working for the other side. You know. Back to your. Sorry about that, King Kong. I ain't on your side with that one, buddy.
Original comment making sense you're against America. Demon rats are basically domestic terrorists. My thing is, how did he assume which side we're on? None of us are in any type of political affiliation. there's Republicans with a lot of some Democratic opinions, and vice versa, Democrats with Republican opinions. I think people should stop assuming which side someone's on just because they have one opinion about one thing, and vice versa. But anyway, to move on from that comment, we do have one last comment we would like to address. This is from Philip, just Philip. Kinda close. People are considered corporations. Ever notice how in legal documents your name is fully capitalized? That's because they're talking about you and the corporation, not you, the person. They only mean you as a person if only the first letter is capitalized. And he made it a little example. We all agree to that the first time we ever opened a bank account. Most of our parents made that decision for us. So, yeah, how we feeling about that?
What was the conversation that video was stemming from? I'm trying to remember.
We were talking about the corporations and the people, how it's separate exactly. And actually, correction, we do have one more comment after that we're going to respond to. But yeah, we were talking about the corporations.
About like
in different entities and how
The voting.
Yeah, the voting.
That the corporations are considered people because that's what the Supreme Court.
And
So
we are
it
considered
allows them to
corporations.
spend their money on political campaigns. However, they cannot vote. But the money is what is the primary driver of winning elections. It's less about voting and more about the money. So, but he's just trying to say that we're all corporations.
as in the people.
As in the people, because of how your name is spelled on a document.
Yeah. So any of us can influence the voting.
I don't know. He didn't really have a good point. This is where I understand what Philip is saying. It is a common misconception amongst the sovereign citizen group that because of the use of capitalization of your name on a document is that there's a corporate form of you as an entity and not your personal whatever. It's all just bunk. It's not anything serious. It's not a serious argument. He mentions the first time that you open a bank account, blah, 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 that now he makes no point. He's just saying, okay, your name is capitalized here, it's not capitalized here. But if he wants to continue that conversation, then you get into, okay, why does it matter if I'm a corporation or if I'm just a regular person? You get into taxation. I'm guessing that's the next step that he's going to take in that argument then is, okay, well, why, being a free person, and this is a good one, okay, you guys tell me what you guys think. I'm a free person. I'm going to spell my name with the lowercase letters in this instance, okay? If I'm free, we all generally accept that we need to work in order to live and pay bills and to do normal everyday life stuff. Why is it that I cannot come to you, Qua, say, hey, I need to earn some money. You got any jobs I can do for you? You say, Dave, you know what? I'm in need of some marketing. And I say, Qua, you're in luck. I happen to have a marketing company. I would love to tell people about what you do. And then we come to an arrangement. We say, okay, good. I'll pay you $500. I take that $500 and I do your marketing for you. Happy, happy, happy. Okay. But the government wants their cut. How did the government get involved? Was it because my name was capitalized on a document that you and I may have signed together? Why, if I'm a free person, why does the government...
That's what I was about to say. I don't. Then before you said that, I don't really think we're as free as people think we are. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good question.
It's like, yeah. How free are you if you can't live in this country and not do, like, if I wanted to, you know what, I don't want to work no more. I just want to move out to this land and start a farm and just live my life like that. You know, like somebody's gonna come knocking and they're gonna say, you owe me money. How free am I? You know what I'm saying? I don't bother nobody. I don't ask nobody for nothing. I don't even trade with people. You know, I'm just living on this land that I brought, but I gotta pay you. I gotta pay you land taxes. I might have to pay you some other taxes. You know what I'm saying? I have to pay all this other stuff. Income tax. Do I have to pay income taxes on a farmer? Like if I'm just like free range farmer and then I don't even know. Like It's
It
ridiculous.
depends on who you ask.
I don't think. And then like state and federal taxes on top of that. Like it's not just one. I'm taxed by two different entities for multiple different reasons. I don't think we are free. When you say like things like thinking and acting locally and coming back and fixing the community, I think if people start like becoming their government officials, like we're more like community based, like back to that community base, and like a lot of us start saying like no, or getting everybody on one accord, which is like I feel like is impossible. Like what, 300 million people in America, 330.
It depends on what the
people?
topic is. That's why I try to bring things back to the local conversation, because if you're at a national level, there's too much problems, and two, we at the individuals, we have no control over the things that are happening nationally with 350 million people, whatever it is. That's why we've got to bring the conversation back to the local, to where you can go and have a conversation with a person. We're not tweeting at each other or whatever it is, Xing, commenting, whatever platform you choose. We're yelling at each other on the internet and accomplishing nothing. We're not.
And I think we do nothing. Like, it's families that get kicked off their lands after generations because they're not paying their land taxes, or the government seizes their land because they need it for whatever project they want to do. Like, that's not freedom, you know? And a lot of times we stand by and allow these things to happen. And I don't think it's okay. I don't know exactly the steps to do about it besides what we're doing right now. But like, I don't have no long-term fix for this issue. I don't know how to detach from the federal government or these things. Like, but then again, like I said, people aren't free. It's not like the times where people was coming out west for gold rush. Like, they took these lands away from the people. You know,
Look,
they came out and established.
you are okay. Just looking at the taxation, most of you guys are employees. There's a difference in the various arrangements.
Man, taxes, bro.
Look, money is an important part of life, okay? Because we don't barter and stuff. We don't create things and then go to you and say, oh, I made this pair of shoes, you give me some potatoes or whatever. We don't do that. So we have money in exchange, and that's how we live our lives. It's how we pay our rent, whatever. So typically, we exchange our time for that money. And so then we say that, okay, my time is worth this much money. It's an even exchange. So then I'm giving up part of my life, which is my time, for this money. So then that's a fair exchange there.
Between you and your work.
So then the government comes in, if I'm an employee, and they get paid first off of my time, me giving my life. So then, depending on what percentage of my life they're taking from me, they're taking it. They're not. I'm not giving it to them. They're taking it. Then that's what percentage you are slave to the government.
Yeah.
And the place that you see that is most evidence. Look at your pay stubs. For those of you that work and receive a paycheck, you'll see the federal income taxes on there. You'll see FICA, which is your Medicare, Social Security withholding.
Ooh, realistically, from my age group, probably even yours, we not even gonna see that Social Security money. We gonna be dead. We gonna be dead. We paying something like, and they know that, you know, and they keep making that Social Security age go higher and higher and higher. But we're dying faster and faster and faster.
Social Security is a Ponzi scheme.
It is
you guys
a
can look
complete
it up.
scam, bro.
It's a Ponzi scheme. In the
It's a
beginning, it
complete
was like
scam.
16 workers to one Social Security beneficiary.
Yeah.
So now it's like 4 workers to every one beneficiary. But your current wages and FICA, there's no, they call it a trust fund or whatever, but it's the government takes, it's a general tax, and they're taking your money, they're putting it into their right pocket, and then they're paying people on Social Security from the same pocket. And then they're taking an IOU from this pocket and putting it over here and using the IOUs to pay the bills for the older folks. That's just the way that it is. It's a big Ponzi scheme. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that I'm gonna get it, but I'm taking things into my own hands so that I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. This is a whole separate conversation to be had at another time. I don't know.
I don't
Or
know.
we can continue down this one, but I want you guys to really think about how free we really are.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some comments on this one. I have more information that we'll share at a later time on some of this stuff. If you guys are curious and this really piques your interest, I think it might.
Also, how free are we really? You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't think nobody is, and I think the higher you go up, they turn you against the people under you. Like you go to your job, you know, you're the person who got the position right above you is the hardest on you. You know, it ain't gonna be your big boss. It's gonna be your assistant manager. You know, your manager. It's not gonna be your general manager. Your what you call them. They're gonna be the hardest on you, and that's the same way it is in the world. Like we kind of just turn on each other. You know, we're supposed to look up for help, and then it's just like, oh, you're ungrateful. Like you hear that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people hear that at work a lot. You're ungrateful. Y'all get this, that, and the third, and it's harder for us. Like we always turned against each other in the smallest ways, like in work. So when you get into the world, into your community, it's easy to say they get this and we get that. You know, instead of just fixing everybody's problem at every level. You know, we just saying like, oh, you got it easy because you got this, or it was that way, but it's different now, so just let it go. Like, how about we just start solving each other problems? You know, how about we start helping each other out? You know, because nothing would ever get fixed. We will always be the dummies who paying damn near half our money in taxes. And but really more once you talk about once you buy goods, and that's taxed too. You know what I'm saying? I can't flush a toilet without getting taxed, bro. Like we screwed, you know, and we do nothing besides turn on each other. We do absolutely nothing besides turn on each other every single time.
All right, so we do got one more last comment. It's by BR18IDHT.
Where y'all come up with these names?
Right. It's bright, but I just wanted to say it properly. But they're saying just get out and vote in your state elections. State election turnout is abysmal. Even though that has way more bearing on your everyday life than the federal government, but thinking anything is going to change the supremacy of the federal government is dumb. Not going to have a state with legal slavery. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Well,
I
would
would have
a
to.
state with legal slavery. I think slavery is already legal. That's your tax system.
Yeah.
They just put a different name on it. You're a barcode now. They just scan you when it comes tax time.
You got
and if
your
you don't make
employee
money,
ID number?
and don't come to me and tell me, oh, you don't pay so much tax. If you don't work and you're not making any money, then they don't care about you anyway, because you're not useful to them.
And you still getting taxed because every time you buy something, it costs more.
Every time you spend money, every time you make money.
Every time you spend money, every time you make money.
So-
Come
It's
on.
always going to be on you.
It's
Yeah.
every time.
Now, I do like the comment that state elections are important, but I would also argue that what is even worse than state elections is your local elections for your mayor and for your city council, and those elections are terrible turnouts, but those are the ones that you have the most say in. But people are least interested in those things because it's not as sexy, it's not as dramatic and all of that kind of stuff. So
during election time, I think we should start covering. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Who's running for? What are we voting for? You know, these things. And I advise, you know, and hope everybody who's seeing this, you know, kind of do the same. You know, like local elections, the local elections and like state elections, they're low turnouts because people genuinely do not know about them. You know, and they don't care. So like inform, you know, information is a MFer, man. Like, so if we informing, we doing a pretty good job. You know, we're going to start voting. Well, I'm going to start voting. I don't know if Dave votes already or not. I'm going to start voting on local elections. But yeah, use the platform to inform you about who's running, who we voting for, what they have and have done. I am not taking nobody's side, you know, and I am advocating for the people I care about or want to win.
and I would say this other thing. He mentions that what was the comment about federal sovereignty?
Federal sovereignty?
Yeah.
I'll just read it again. Just get out and vote in your state elections. State election turnout is abysmal, even though that has way more bearing on everyday federal government. But thinking anything is going to change the supremacy of the federal government is dumb. Not going to have a state with legal slavery. I don't.
Okay. Legal slavery, like I said, I want to hit that thing because people think they're free. y'all slaves. But the federal versus the state, you guys need to understand there are secession movements. There's something called Texas. Here, for those of you that don't know, we are in Texas. That's where we live. And there's something called Texas, and it is a state secessionist movement. They want to remove Texas from the United States. There's also a movement in California to do the same thing, and also up, I guess it's Washington, like the eastern part of Washington wants to be part of Idaho, and there's different things. There are movements like this that are out there. You guys can look them up if you're interested. Maybe we can do something more about it. But and something else that's maybe in the news a little bit more, but the 14th Amendment. Basically, the old Constitution is gone. The 14th Amendment is our new Constitution. It created the national government. And it's really been from that point that the federal government got stronger and stronger, and the state governments got less and less power. And I would say that it's a bad thing. That is one of the key times that the centralization of power became greater. And since then, it's just gotten greater and greater. So that is centralizing control. And what I am arguing for is to decentralize the control. I don't believe that Washington, D.C. should be ruling all of us here. They've capped the number of representatives, so as the population grows, the power becomes even more concentrated in the capital, and you get dictators like Trump, like Biden, like Obama, like fill in the blank.
I don't think they're.
You've got the military industrial complex. Look, they're all puppets.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. A
They're
dictator.
puppets.
They're
Because
puppets, though.
the power is
puppet
concentrated
dictators.
there, it allows for the puppeteers to just work in that little pond. If
I
you
get what
go
you're
and
saying.
look at Washington, D.C., the most extravagant and expensive zip codes and area codes and neighborhoods are all around Washington, D.C., and it's not by accident. That's where the power players play, and they are the ones controlling. And so I would just argue to decentralize the power. Let's take the power back in whatever way, like each one of us will have our own passions and interests and that kind of thing, and I would say pursue that. And we need to come together and have dialogues and conversations and not arguments and yell at one another. Let's assume the best of one another, that we have each other's best interests at heart. Let's quit bombing people on the other side of the planet. Quit supporting other people that are bombing other people on the other side of the planet. Let's quit supporting these governments that don't have our best interests in mind. And I don't know. I'm on a rant.
I don't think states should be like independent nations, but I am definitely for depowering decentralization of the federal government. Yeah, I'm definitely for that. I was thinking about this earlier, like how I kind of look at it. It's like, okay, so federal government has 50% of the power, right? And the states have the other 50%, but it's 50 states, you know? So each state holds only a certain amount of power. Each state only holds a certain amount of power. I think that should be flipped, you know? I think, not even flipped, but I think 50% is way too much for one entity, you know? 50%, I think the federal government maybe needs to be down to about 5% of say-so in what goes on to the states. They should control protection of the United States and, other things of that nature, maybe some type of federal government. But when you talk about state funding of education and, we give them too much money. It's way too much money going through the neck. It's too much power in their hands. And I think it should go not all back to the states, but mostly back to the states so it should just hold everybody accountable. Like, it should be able to hold everybody accountable. I like the NBA is a perfect example. Adam Silver is on a set salary every year, you know. the players make way more money than he does, but he does hold the power. You know, the teams make way more money than he does, but he holds the power. Like it's nothing. It's nothing that he can do to the whole league without the league say so, and it's nothing that the league can do without his say so. Like the veto, you know what I'm saying? The president, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just too much power in the federal government. I think it should be gone, but it definitely needs to be decentralized. The words we use.
And the Fed.
And the Fed, I didn't even know that was a difference until a few months ago.
In the Fed.
But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What
You
else
know,
you
the
got? Any more
CIA,
comments or anything?
Oh,
What you
no,
got?
that was the last comment, but we do got the subjects you got written down.
Yeah, I got
there,
some
which we gonna
subjects.
get into.
Let's get into tariffs. You know, Donald Trump just recently started these tariffs. Me and Dave disagree. I understand his points on it, but we disagree on some points also. I'm gonna let you shoot off with that one, boss.
I don't know. I don't. Tariffs generally. It's a way to raise money for the government. I don't believe the government currently has an income problem. I think they have a spending problem. I think that playing around with the tariffs isn't going to get our. With Trump, I don't know his stated goals and reasons. It seems to me that he will use any reason that works to justify the tariffs. I think we should just set the tariffs, set it and forget it. Set it at like 10%. They can use that to do revenue, but he's trying to do it and go out there and make deals and do this kind of thing, and it makes it more difficult for business owners to be able to, because it's not the United States that does trade with other countries. Mm-hmm. The government is not trading with China. The government is not trading. It's small business owners like me, mm-hmm. who is doing trade with factories in these other places, and so it's these companies that are doing, but then we get put under the umbrella of United States. Mm-hmm. And so if I buy something from Thailand, if I buy something from anywhere in Asia, China, Vietnam, whatever, or the UK, for example, or anywhere, it just makes it very difficult when there is no stability in the tariffs, and like we don't know what it's going to be from year to year, because these aren't short-term relationships. I've been dealing with factories in Asia for many years, and so then it's just like it's just an added cost. And just to answer the questions about who pays the tariffs, it's not China paying the tariffs. It's not the Chinese factories paying the tariffs. It's me, the importer. Now, if a Chinese company is also the importer, then they would pay the tax. So whoever the importing company is who pays the tariffs. In my case, that's me. And that's a check that you write when the stuff comes in at port. You have to pay that along with your ocean freight, and any customs duties and tariffs are all paid to that point before you get to receive your merchandise, whatever it is. So they're just playing around, and it makes it difficult for business owners to plan long term whenever it's being played with like that.
So my thing on the tariffs is, which I 100% understand, and I side with you on, like, you pay them. I'm very, very clear on that. But my thing on the tariffs is to get manufacturing back over here to the States. You know, it's not necessarily even like creating more jobs, but my whole thing is fixing the U.S. problem is keeping the money in the community. Like I said, like when you go down the road and eat McDonald's, the money you spend is getting outsourced. You know what I'm saying? It's not coming back to the community.
It's coming back into the community by all the people who work at McDonald's. They also live in the community.
But what are they spending their money? You feel what I'm saying? Like what is everything that you buy here gets outsourced instead of like having local businesses. Prime example, right? You got your small business, but you manufacture here with the company here, right? Everybody who works here, that warehouse, that company, they know you. You feel what I'm saying? Like you saying, it's not like I can tweet in like, hey, this guy, I don't like the way this is ran. You know, if you had a problem, if somebody had a problem with the way something was running the factory, they can go to Dave and say, hey, Dave, this is what's going on in the factory that you are over. You know what I'm saying? That you're manufacturing. Not to say he running the factory, but that you're manufacturing, you can do something about it. You know what I'm saying? It's a way easier fix because it's in your community. You could fix these problems. People are spending money, and it's gonna grow. It's not getting outsourced. Like when you say impoverished communities, they stay poor because everything is going out. Nobody's making money. And as soon as somebody makes money in that community, they leave. You know, they leave and go to a better community. Those communities aren't getting healthier. They're not getting healthier. So if we, and the thing about tariffs is you start paying for it over here and you get it back over here because it's cheaper. That's the only reason I agree with it. But
Okay, here's the
That's the
argument.
only reason I
Look,
agree
this
with
is it goes back to decentralization. The government, okay, command and control. Okay, can the government, these people on high, make decisions for 350 million or the world economy? Because it's arguable that the United States and the decisions that are made in our government
The
affect
feds.
everybody in the world. So then, I know there's been arguments about even the way that Trump and his team, whoever did it, selected the percentages. In my opinion, the government officials do not have the understanding of all the various markets in play, because they're not only talking about the different countries, but then all the different industries in each of the different, and thinking that this one, who do I hear?
Shepherd.
He went down? Or,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm watching my kids. I just don't believe in a command. I believe in the free market. I don't believe in command and control. I don't believe in arguing about the income tax being 35% or 40%. I don't believe in arguing whether a 10% tariff or a 20% tariff or a 50% tariff is correct. I don't believe that setting these, because ultimately it comes down to it's like an additional interest rate. I don't believe the Fed has the ability to manipulate interest rates the way that they try to do. All of this, people fiddling with the economy in all these different ways, is what gets what we have today. The market, the economy, and all this kind of stuff, it's all screwed up because we've got too many people in the pot trying to hit all the levers and push all the buttons, and they don't know what they're doing. I believe the free market is the best way to solve our economic problems, and it is not even close to being a free market. So I just come at it from a principled standpoint that if they want to do it, they can. But even what he's doing now, to your argument, it's not going to bring manufacturing back. They can't plan on the president, because if Trump can come in today and make it a 20% tariff, then the next person could come in and make it a 30% tariff or a 10% tariff. Like, people cannot make long-term, and any factories that would come here would not be live and running for 5 to 10 years. So you can't make long-term decisions like that based on short-term changes in a tariff. So what companies will do is sit and chill for a little bit and let things kind of stabilize, and then they'll figure it out.
So your
But-
thing is like it's gonna move regardless. So you're not gonna change nothing.
What do you mean it's going to move regardless?
Like you said, the tariffs going ups and down. Like
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
And what businesses need in order to make decisions is we need stability. We need to know that the world will work in a certain way in order to be able to make decisions. And when it's on the whims of some dude in the White House,
Yeah.
then you can't make decisions based on how he feels today or tomorrow. That's why this command and control economy, that's why socialism doesn't work, communism, whatever flavor of ism you want to look at, it doesn't work. The people will argue that, oh, this is a capitalist. We're not a capitalist society. Like, it's capitalism capitalist-esque, I guess, because we have money and interest rates. You would call it a capitalist, but this is crony capitalism at best. You can't tell me it's a capitalist system when, one, people don't have capital, they don't have understanding of finance and financial documents and all this. Like, there's so much that people don't understand that in a true capitalist system we would all have. We've got funny money that's...
The education system plays a big hand in that. Like, they don't educate people
Yeah,
on money.
it's-
You take
it's-
one economics course your whole first through 12th grade. Not even, you take note, you learn how to count, and you take one economics course in high school. Like, everything else you have to do in something public school wise. Maybe if you went to a private school or homeschool, that's different. But no, they do not educate you on nothing about finances, how to spend, save, invest, none of these things. To piggyback on your point.
No, I agree. I don't know. I don't have much. I've got a lot more to say about it, but we're running out of time. Sorry to rush you guys, but we've been going for a while.
We're good. We can wrap it up if you want to.
What else you got?
That's it. Just
That's
the difference between the Republic and the United States of America. For the Republic,
what do you
the
mean?
Pledge of Allegiance.
okay.
to the
The
flag.
Pledge of Allegiance.
To the Republic in the United States of America. I saw this the other day on Instagram. Somebody was breaking down the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the Republic and the United States of the Americas, as if they were two different entities.
The United States is an entity. It's a federation of states, is what it started off as being. The states came together and they created a central government to regulate the commerce amongst the states, and then also to deal with foreign nations.
Yep.
Okay, started off with the original 13 colonies, and then we've expanded out to now
50
include
states.
50 states. And then, like I said before, the 14th Amendment, that's when the national government came to be, and now instead of having 50 individual states, we've got the United States of America. Like, you want to talk about that, that's all caps.
The
United
Republic.
States. And so the Republic, it's a Republican form of government. Republican form of government is the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. So we've got a division in the government of the different tasks. And then the representation
To handle
is
the different tasks within the
Yeah.
United States of America.
and the division of powers and all this kind of separation of powers, whatever you want to call it. And so then you've got the House of Representatives, which are elected in the states, and then you have the Senate, which is also elected in the states. And then you go look up the 17th Amendment. They made it to where once upon a time the state governments were who elected the senators, but then after the 17th Amendment of the Constitution, they made it to where the senators are elected by popular vote, the democracy aspect of it. So, but the Republican form of government is the different factions, and then the House of Representatives and the Senate is the Republican form, and then why it's called a democratic republic is because then we get to democratically elect those representatives in each of those houses of government. So it's all like you're saying republic or saying the United States,
yep.
it's all the same. Like, basically, whatever. And then each of the states have their own version of the same kind of deal. The governor is like the president, and then each has a state House of Representatives and a state Senate,
So, off topic.
and state Supreme Courts.
So what do you think? Okay, so let's say, because this is not my first time hearing about Texas wanting to be its own independent nation.
Yeah.
What does that look like for the rest of America? Does that look like war?
What you
Does
talking
that
about?
look like? Because
I don't know.
I doubt it's a peaceful transition.
I think it
from
can
what
be
I've-
peaceful. Look, it's the federal government, it's the military-industrial complex, and they're looking for a fight whenever they can get a fight. So I don't know what that looks like. I think it's a terrible.
So-
but yeah, they'll.
So quick background on this situation. When Biden was doing the open borders and letting everybody in, he said that immigration was not a United States problem, it was a Texas problem. So then Greg Abbott at the time started getting the immigrants from the border, loading them on buses and dropping them off at safe havens all across the country. And that's when all those things about how the people was eating their cats and all that stuff came about. But
They're eating the dogs.
They're eating the dogs. Yeah. That's how that stuff came about. So I don't think that was necessarily, well, it was radical on Greg Abbott's part, but it was completely understandable, because like it was kind of radical, on the part of Texas, Texas, on Texas, but the president of the United States not acknowledging Texas as a part of the United States.
No, because we're down here nearest the border, we feel that the immigration problems more heavily than other places. They wanted to share the burden, so they took them to places, and they got to feel some of the burden too. I don't know. It's a game. It's politics. I don't know. Well, you guys think we can wrap up?
Yeah, man.
Hey, guys, I hate to say it, but this might be the last Qua's Conspiracy Corner for a while. My boy Qua, he got a job in Austin. He's going to be a couple hours away from us now.
Yeah.
Rashard he's still in school. He's starting up this semester. He's going to do a semester abroad. He's going to be in Japan. So I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go.
Maybe a Zoom call or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just wanted to let you guys know that this will be the last Qua's Conspiracy Corner for a little while. Hopefully we'll be able to get together again soon and have some more fun conversations. But we don't want you guys to
stop.
Yeah, don't stop thinking and acting locally. You guys need to have these conversations in your place. And reach out to us. Let us know what you guys think. We love to read your comments. These guys get a kick out of it.
And then hook your phone up. You know what I'm saying? Hop on the internet. Share your opinions, man. We all need to understand how each other feel. Viewpoints and backgrounds. Sit around, have a conversation with your friends. Have an actual conversation, not arguments. And hear the other person out. Understand where they're coming from. And find a resolution. We got to be better.
There's plenty of hate out there. Let's show some love.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're arguing with somebody or just disagree normally, agree to disagree, explain why you disagree, and just have conversations, control your thoughts, as we stated earlier, because, you can't control them, and control your actions, and just simply be a good person, and that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, and just experiment with it. Maybe try to put yourself in their shoes and see whatever the issue is, try to see it from their side, their perspective, change your perspective. Go out, make it a great day, think and act locally, and until next time, we'll see you again. Dang, what was I going to say? I forgot. No, yeah, we'll play the outro. Until next time, we'll play the video for that. And then Esco on the lens, tell your friends. Play that song, Esco. Let's go. Until next time.
Qua and David about to let you know. Yeah. 25 with the vision, young king on a mission. Diving deep in the rabbit hole, no permission.